Genero runs applications in Graphical User Interface, or GUI mode, to display application windows and forms with a real graphical look and feel. When using GUI mode, the default is native rendering. Each type of front-end uses the native GUI API and native GUI objects, such as windows and widgets, to render application forms. You can see small differences in the native rendering of this form by the Genero desktop client on the left and the Genero browser client on the right. Native rendering ensures that your Genero application running in the desktop client has the typical appearance and behavior you would expect to see in a desktop client. The same application running in the Genero browser client has the expected look and feel of a web-based application. Likewise, for an application running on a mobile device using the Genero Mobile for Android or Genero Mobile for iOS front-end. However, a problem inherent with native rendering is that some GUI functionality works well with one GUI client, but not with another. For example, GDC and GBC can render tree views and traditional tables with column manipulation and input array support. Genero Mobile for Android and Genero Mobile for iOS do not support tree views or traditional tables. At the moment, there are a number of rendering differences between the various native clients. We expect to see these differences increase as we add more GUI functionality, such as responsiveness and the table improvements roadmapped for future releases. Starting with Genero 3.20, you can unify front-end display using universal rendering mode. The Genero AUI protocol doesn't change. It's the same information being sent from the runtime to the front-end client. Universal rendering provides a common HTML-based rendering solution using web technologies of the GBC front-end. It requires no changes to the BDL code or business logic. The concept is to have one universal interface, the GBC client, inside the Genero desktop client and Genero mobile clients to provide common functionality across all Genero clients as well as a common look and feel. Universal rendering works with direct connections as well as through the Genero application server. It's expected to become the default rendering of choice for Genero applications. There are still some hooks to the native user interface. For example, if you click on the Date Edit calendar, you may get the appropriate native UI calendar widget. Also, front-end calls still go out to the native container. To enable universal rendering, add the FGL profile entry GUI.rendering and set it to universal. There is also an option to set the universal rendering setting in the front end. Now if you run the orders application again, it will use universal rendering. You can expect to see some differences in the look and feel. This will vary depending on your 4GL code, presentation styles, and front end. Here you can see the differences in the look and feel of the orders application using universal rendering with GDC, GBC, the Genero browser client, and GMA, the Genero mobile client for Android. As universal rendering is based on the Genero browser client, you get the functionality of the GBC, which includes the ability to customize the user interface. To learn more about universal rendering, you can read Universal Rendering Topics in the Genero Business Development Language User Guide. See the appropriate client user guide for information about universal rendering options that may be available in the client.